Want to learn more about the dynamics between men and women? Then check out the multi-part video series I have explaining the masculine and feminine energies. Access the link and watch it now. So we're going to speak about the toxic or wounded versions of each energy, right? And yeah, let's get into it. So we spoke about the qualities and the behaviors really done from a general place. Now we're going to speak about it done from a place that is not favorable to you. And when you are expressing in this way, you're usually going to feel a lack of fulfillment. You're going to be a danger, or you're not going to be in line with nature's goal, which is to promote survival and surviving and thriving and so on. So let's talk about the masculine energy, the shadow aspect of the masculine. When we talk about shadow, I want you to imagine that there's an empowered version, right? And the shadow version is like the weakened version that hasn't grown up into the empowered version almost. It's like you have the empowered version here, but behind it is the shadow version. But you want to step into the empowered version. You want to step in, you want to step out the shadow, you want to step in to the light. You want to step into the empowered version of yourself. And the shadow aspect is your lower, what people would say, you got a higher self and a lower self. The shadow aspect is your lower self. So the shadow aspects of the masculine include, let's say, one of the qualities of the masculine is that it's dominant because it's very direct. It's hard energy, right? So it produces dominance in men. Now, let's say a man's over dominating, right? That's a shadow aspect of the masculine, because that's not healthy expression of it. That's too much. Like, you can take it overboard. Or let's say he's over controlling. A man is supposed to be in control. He's supposed to. He's designed to be a leader, right? He's supposed to be in control, but not over controlling. And there's a clear line between those two things. When you become over controlling, now you're in the shadow aspects. When you're in control from a healthy place, you have a positive effect to those that are under your leadership. So other out of balance aspects of the masculine is that he could be overly aggressive. So you're built to be aggressive. You're built with the capability to be strong and direct and confrontational. But if you're too confrontational, if you're too aggressive, if you're easily sparked, someone bumps into you and all of a sudden you want to fight him or you want to shoot him, right? That stuff happens generally a lot with men because their ego might be pushed or rubbed the wrong way. Let's say another aspect, it could be, as we said, controlling, right? Let's say that a man has gone through being cheated on. What happens is because he's coming from a wounded place, he's hurt, he could take the capabilities of his energy and his body, which has the potential to be controlling, and he might be overly controlling with his woman. But it's actually coming from a hurt place, right? So the goal of this stuff is we want to heal it. And that's a good way to see if you're coming from the shadow aspect or the empowered aspect. Is it coming from pain or is it coming from a healed place? Other aspects of the unhealed or the wounded masculine energy, he abuses power. He's very critical, unstable. He could be too competitive. So one of the components of masculine energy is that it produces competitiveness. If you're over competitive, where you can never learn because you're always trying to compete with someone. You can never listen because you're always trying to compete. And it's interesting actually, because when we speak about this stuff, it's also important to know that women can have this stuff. So when a woman has masculine energy and she's coming from a toxic masculine energy within her, you will see that these same behaviors happen. But let's now talk about the feminine energy and the wounded aspects or the shadow aspects of the feminine, right? So, okay, the feminine energy is an indirect energy. It's not structure, it's flow. The masculine energy is structure, the feminine energy is more flow, moldable, flexible, so on. Because of this, women actually have a more difficult time taking accountability and responsibility, more than men. But even though men are supposed to take responsibility and accountability more than women are, there's still an extent that a woman has to do it. Otherwise, she's now going to be embracing victimhood. So a woman's more likely to embrace victimhood if she's coming from this disempowered feminine energy that we're talking about. So other aspects include she'll be overly emotional. This is, you could be overly emotional, overly emotional or under emotional, like, but you're supposed to be in between. You're supposed to be imbalanced. You could lack authenticity. You could be manipulative. So when we talk about the flow aspect of feminine energy, it's able to produce and influence others in a very powerful way. But if you're coming from a disempowered place, you will take that energy and you will be manipulative with it. You will be codependent, needy, and insecure. So those are aspects of the wounded feminine, right? And I speak about this in the book Healing the Feminine Energy and the Wounds of Your Inner Child. So if you want to get that book or the course or the audio book, check that out. It's on Amazon, but it's also on my website, and I'll put a link in the description of this video. But yeah, those are the wounded, shadow, distorted, weakened, whatever you want to call it, versions of each energy. And the key to understand. Alright, if you want to watch the next part in the series, then check out the link below. I'll make it available and you can get access to all of the videos in this course.